Good morning. This is Charlie Emmons, and we're going to begin the presentation. There are still people joining us, and we appreciate the time. This is the second in FAME's webinar series. Roxanne Broughton presented the FAME Leverage versus Pro Rata Loan Program, and Chris Roney is going to follow up later in the year with a webinar on bond financing. And I would like to ask if you all have any topics that you might like to hear about that have to do with FAME or access to capital or whatever. Would you please let us know, and we will try to fit one in for you. Running the board for me today is Sheila Kennedy, who has told me I can't touch anything because she's afraid I'm going to screw it up. So Sheila, thank you very much. I appreciate the confidence that you're showing in me. Also, if you have any questions, I would like them asked during any part of the presentation, and we'll try to get to them. And if we can't answer them, and I can't make up anything about it, we'll get back to you with a final answer at some point. But again, if you have questions as we move through this program, would you please put them on, and I'll be able to see them. And the questions and answers will be transcribed and will be available after the webinar. So I'm Charlie Emmons, and most of you know me. I am with FAME. I've been with FAME for 16 years and will be leaving on October 1st. I have enjoyed every minute of my time with FAME, mostly, but certainly have enjoyed my interaction with you, the lending partners. Just to give you a little bit of background information, I'm going to start off with this. The screen is showing that in fiscal 2018, FAME supported the state of Maine by the issuance of $65 million in debt. We impacted 250 businesses, and I want to point out that it's in every single county of Maine, and we have done that for the majority of the 16 years that I've been here, and we have created and or retained nearly 3,400 jobs. In comparison, I'm going to give you a kind of an update where we are in fiscal 19 with the FAME programs through 5/22. We've had 311 loans closed for $67 million in lender balance and $38 million in FAME exposure, which is a leverage of 1.8 times. For every dollar of FAME exposure, we've levered $1.8 of exposure in the state. And again, on the overall impact of FAME, since its founding in 1983, we have partnered to deploy over $2 billion in loans and equity capital, which has created and retained nearly 100,000 jobs across all of Maine's major industries. And those are pretty impressive for a small state and an organization like the Finance Authority of Maine. I'm going to go over it again, $2 billion in loans and equity capital, and nearly 100,000 jobs created or retained over the period of time. The program we're going to talk about today is the FAME Direct Loan Program. I'm going to give you a little background on it. I want to start out, and I'm going to say this a bunch of times, by saying FAME is not competing with its lending partners. FAME is not in competition with its lending partners, and we feel that we're providing a complementary financing product in conjunction with them. The program was first established in 1983 as the Economic Recovery Loan Program. It was a different economic time, and the program was aimed at all companies in trouble. Frankly, I've never liked the name, and not that I'm the only one that didn't like it, but we finally got it changed about 2 years ago to the FAME Direct Loan Program, which kind of states what we're looking for in the future as opposed to what we were in the past. The direct loans are to assist Maine businesses to start up, remain viable, and or improve productivity. Since its start, we have directed $88 million in direct loans since 1993, with 25,000 Maine jobs retained and or created since that time. To give you an update, we were funded with $18.5 million of bond money from the state. And thank you guys, because it's our money, but also your money. We currently have outstanding $11 million in direct loans, and we have undispersed funds of about $8 million. I want to tell you that we are a self-sustaining revolving credit program. So if you take all that in consideration, we have $19 million either outstanding or available. We were given $18.5 million, which sounds like we've increased our availability a little bit. But I want to also say that there is a 15% loss experience over that period of time. So the program has done exactly what it was designed for. It is the riskiest of the FAME programs. One of the questions. We work in partnership with our lending partners and feel that the program offers flexibility to the borrower and our lending partners through what we can do. It is in place to help reduce the lender's risk from time to time, and it provides another tool in the lender's toolbox. It can be subordinated debt, and I know most of your lending partners don't even like to talk about subordinated debt, and that's where we're unique, because we are willing to be subordinate to a lending partner's first lien position in their loan, in their capital stack, if you will. And we are aiming this to be used in earlier parts of the business life cycle. You'll see a slide later on about the business life cycle. And we are made these loans in conjunction with CLI, which is loan insurance and other agencies program. And I want to make sure, again, we're not in competition with you guys. And these direct loans are not mutually exclusive and can be done in conjunction with loan insurance simultaneously. Some of the features, the maximum amount of the loan is $1 million. All loans are written on a 5-year term, but the amortization can be different depending on what's being financed. The rate is fixed at 2 over Wall Street Journal Prime. The first year committed fee is 1%, and though jobs creation and retention are a plus, it's not a requirement. And it's for businesses by and large who have been unable to secure funding elsewhere. And I repeat, it is not a grant program, though some of our loans end up looking like grants given the loss rate, but it is not a grant program. And Sheila's reminding me to remind you to please send in your questions. I know I'm going fast, a lot of caffeine, but we're trying to move through this efficiently. The interesting thing to me about the direct loan is that the FAME direct loan can be used part of a funding package or a capital stack. And I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. And we combine our loan with other agencies to combine the FAME direct loan and other agencies' loan to close gaps. And I will give you some examples of that now. We have an educational institution in the Bangor area, and FAME, along with CEI and EMDC, Eastern Maine Development Corp, and a direct loan, direct loan insurance, provided the funding for this growing educational company in Bangor. We also have a company that uses manure to generate electricity, and we are in conjunction with Community Concepts and CEI, providing them for funding in addition to direct bank funding. We have a current project which is going to could revolutionize the use of wood fiber in the state of Maine. And in this project, FAME is partnering with MRDA, the Maine Rural Development Authority, the town of Madison, Maine, CEI, MTI, the Somerset Economic Development Corporation, and CDBG to come up with seed funding for the project. It's got a long way to go, but this is a very promising and exciting project for us. And so I will tell you that new, and I've got it, bullet number 4 is new. We're using the FAME direct program more and more for startups or companies that haven't actually reached commercialization. And again, we have an example of a company that is additive printing, and we're making loans in conjunction with CEI, MTI, and FAME is partnered with SSBCI, which is a program that we have partnered with for a number of years now, which is now fully utilized. SSBCI came from the feds, and it was a small business incentive loan program, and FAME got $13 million to divvy up through its direct loan program and other regional development agencies. Again, either I'm brilliant or you guys aren't questioning for enough here. And I'm whipping through this now. I wanted to also say that the FAME direct loan program is one that we are trying to get to yes through. And it's on this slide, it's easier to get a credit approved in FAME than a denial. By that, I mean the approval process requires a series of signatures getting to the proper loan authority and a yes. If there is a loan request, it looks like it's going to be a denial, we call a credit committee together to discuss the loan to see if there are any other ways of approach that might work. And any loan that's denied at FAME must have the CEO's signature. So again, it's harder to get a loan denied than approved because we really are trying to get to yes with this program. The business life cycle that I'm showing here is basically either FAME only programs or FAME supported programs. Maine Seed Capital Tax Credit Program is for concept to startup. It's a very successful program. We have $5 million of tax credits for Maine state taxes that's available each year at 50% for an investor. So that's 10% of investment to get to 5%, at $10 million of investment to get to $5 million of the credit program. On January 2nd, Maine Seed Capital was used up within 75 minutes of the opening of FAME at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 2nd of January. So it's a very popular program. FAME Direct program, as you can see, starts a little after concept, or maybe even now a little at the end of concept, and it runs all the way through to maturity. The loan can be put on at any time for various reasons. They're not always bad reasons in this kind of a market. Many times a mature company actually has run the limit of what a lending institution will lend it and comes to FAME because it's doing very well as opposed to poorly. And then as you can see further down, the FAME commercial loan insurance program runs a little more from startup and growth, again, to the end of the life cycle of maturity. And I don't know. I mean, this is the program. This is what we want to present, and this is who we are. You'll notice that Kim Getchell is a new face. She joined us earlier this week as a commercial loan officer, and Karen Kunish is an old timer. She's been here a month. So we've got a full team with Jen Cummings running it, and I'm reporting to Jen now. She's my boss. And I hope that we can continue the history of FAME with you guys, and look forward to more loans coming through directly from you. Again, are there any questions? And not to belabor this point, we're going to take a couple minutes in case there are some questions, but there are none at this point. So we're going to go on mute for a minute or two and just see if there's some folks that have some questions for us. Thank you. All right, we weren't as brilliant as we thought because there are some questions coming in. And I note now, somewhat belatedly, that some of you might have had trouble with the audio. Sheila assures me that the audio will be available and we will send a link out to it. So I'm gonna have to read the questions for you. This is from Bob. Will there be another round of Maine Seed Capital? Yes. The program is set up so each year there's an additional $5 million of credits for $10 million worth of investments. but we have a bill in front of the legislature right now to increase that to $15 million of credits, which is $30 million of investments. We don't know where that stands. It requires a fiscal note, and the budget is being discussed as we speak. So we're not sure about that, Bob. But the $5 million of credits continues indefinitely. Nell, good morning. Can the direct loans be used for nonprofits? Yes, the answer to that is yes. 501c3 is available for Maine direct loans. And there are numbers of examples of that that we've done in the past, and we're a little bit different than our competition that cannot do 501c3s. But we can, and we're kind of bringing it on. Michelle, can you please give a rundown of the fees? Yeah, thanks, Michelle. That's the one screen I don't have available to me right now. I do have it in paper. It's in the lender's guide. And it's a very confusing fee statement. It's also on the website. So rather than go through it, because there are ramifications and each program has different fees associated with it, may I ask that you look at the website, and if you have furthering questions on the fees, you call anybody but me. No, you call me directly, and I'll be glad to answer the questions. Jerry, does the FI referred to the borrower directly, or what is it? I'm not sure what your question is, Jerry. Yes, if it's FI as financial institution, then the answer to that is, especially in 2008, when there was a real economic crisis, suddenly a vast majority of our requests for direct loans came from our lending partners. So the lending partner asked the company to call us, and at some point, the lending partner actually calls us in conjunction with their customer. So, we'll take the applications any way they come. Remember, in the loan insurance program, the lending partner is our customer. In the FAME direct loan program, the company is our customer. But we get referrals from both lending institutions and the companies directly. I hope that answers you. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, Jerry, again. Oh, Jerry, you're full of questions. All right. Will FAME refi other debts for the borrower beyond our approved debts? I think that depends on a case-by-case basis. We would like not to compete with the lending institution in that if we get a loan request from one of your companies and you don't know about it, it's probably not a good thing. So we just have to see what the situation is before we go ahead and move forward with the request. And now back to Bob Smith. Can private businesses access municipal funding for upgrades to wastewater treatment systems? Private businesses. The FAME direct loan program and actually our loan insurance programs, we cannot insure a municipality. So if you're saying a private business access municipal funding for upgrades for water treatment, I would say that's up to the municipality as to how that goes. There are other programs available too, but they're mostly toward municipality. The Maine Bond Bank, housing, all have programs and all have monies available, but they're not exactly toward wastewater treatment. So again, we as FAME cannot insure or do not make direct loans to municipalities. Any others?
So we have one from Jerry.
All right, another one from Jerry.
What if we financed everything we are willing, but there are other loans with specialized lenders?
Will FAME restructure the direct? We can, Jerry, on that one. If it's, and I actually have a call in, Kubota is asking us to, they're refinancing us out, but we can in fact refinance them. Ford Motor Credit We get a lot of applicants coming in and say they want to finance or refinance a truck that is in Ford Motor Credit because it's ballooned or because it's too expensive or whatever. And on a case-by-case basis, we certainly can do that. We can look at that because that's a loan for a term loan for a purpose to an individual company. So yes, we can. And again, if you are the bank of first choice for that borrower, we would certainly like to make sure that you knew that the company was coming to us. Bob, we do not do loans or insure loans to municipalities. So that's been I'm not sure exactly the context. Why don't you call me offline and we can discuss it, because I don't think, I know we can't do it and I'm not sure exactly the context of your question. So you can give me a call and I'm at 620-3510, again, 620-3510. And I will be here for a couple hours this morning and I'll be in the Portland office this afternoon. So if you can't get me, leave me an email and I'll get back to you. Are there any other questions? So I think we're good to go. Thank you very much again for your time. Thane, really appreciate your business. And our goal is to provide money for job creation and retention, but also to keep Maine companies healthy. And we, again, we're going to sign off now, but please remember that there will be a link that Sheila will be sending you a link to the recorded webinar with a transcribed Q&A. And also remember that Chris Roney will be having a webinar on bonds later on this year. And again, if you have any topics that you would like us to cover, please give any of us a call and we'd be glad to get it into the queue. Again, thank you for your time and we appreciate your business.